group stage that Team Japan is going to be in for the U20 World Cup has finally been revealed. And guys, I don't know about you guys, but the first thing I thought about when I seen this group stage was a prediction video. And that's exactly what we're getting to this. If you guys like this type of content, please remember to hit that like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get right into this video. So first over, I want to go over the teams and what I think these teams are going to have on their roster before we even play them. The first team we're going to have is Nigeria. I think Nigeria is definitely either the first or the second game that Blue Lock play. The reason why I say this is because I think Nigeria is going to be a easier team to play than France and England, because we know both those teams already have new gen 11s on them, and France is just absolutely stacked with Loki, Charles, a new gen, probably some other players too that are going to be nasty. So right off the bat, I look at that, I'm like, okay, there's either two ways I've seen in a lot of stories this goes. Either they play the first game against France and get humiliated, right? Either they play that and they get humiliated, they lose. From then on, the stakes are always going to be high in the group stage because you have to win every single game from now on. Like, you can't lose, you can't draw, like, you have to win. Or Kaneshiro can make it very, very, unpredictable. And let's say they play the first game against Nigeria and they win, right? They win the first game against Nigeria. And after that, they're on a roll. They're like, okay, we just beat a team. Let's go, let's go. And then they play against France and gets absolutely dominated. And then they have to play the winner, go through. They have to play against England. So that'll be a peak setup, I think, for the group stage. So that's why I think Nigeria is definitely going to be the easiest opponent, and definitely an opponent that Japan is most certainly going to get a win over. Now, as for the score and what type of team Nigeria is really going to be, I guess this is going to come off as just weird, but I think they're going to be a very athletic team. Now, stick with me. I think they're going to be a team with a bunch of Dada Silvas, motherfuckers who are just super physical. They can break you off the ball. They can jump super high. They're just super athletic, freak athletes. But I think what's going to let Nigeria down is the fact that Blue Lock, they could hurt Blue Lock, right? Because we know the Blue Lock players, they're physical, but not to that level of physicality, if you know what I mean. Not to the Dada Silva level. So if you have a whole team of just straight athletes, that could cause some real damage. I think I can see them failing to deal with something like that. Maybe they could even have a player like Drogba. I don't know if Drogba's from Nigeria, but I mean, shit, if Kaneshiro, if you're going to put him in right now, man. Either way, I think that this game's going to start off with Japan showing off how good they really are. They're going to be doing pretty good. They're going to score the first goal. Nigeria's going to come back, score back. And from then on, it's going to be a scoring party. We're going to see Japan score, Nigeria score. I don't see much defense being played in this game because Japan just has so much firepower anyways. Quite literally, Isagi, Baro, Rin, Bachira, Chigiri. It's literally a team of former strikers. So I don't expect them to ever get clamped in this group stage. They're never going to get shut out. They will be able to score goals. But I think that this game will end pretty comfortably as a 3-2 or 4-2 victory for Japan. Now, here we move on to the second game with France. And I'm pretty sure we already know some players on France. So I guess we already know that they're going to be playing this game, like I said, off the back of a W against Nigeria, feeling confident going against Julian, Loki, and probably the favorites for the tournament. Or this is going to be their first game of the tournament, and it's going to be a reality oh, we're in the U20 World Cup. From this point on, if we lose this game, we can't lose any more games. So I feel like Kaneshiro could either go those two pathways with this tournament and group stage setup. But when they do play France, I feel like this is most definitely going to be a loss. I feel like the setup for Isagi versus Loki has just been so short-lived. And to just end it with Isagi beating him in the group stage here, I just do not think that that's the pathway that Kaneshiro wants to go off of. Especially with this being a group of death and only two things can make it through. And we know Japan's not going to get grouped, right? So Japan's going to make it through. And so we already know France has been a built-up team. We know some players on France. We know they're going to be a great team. There's some rivalry between Isagi and Loki already. I think we know that France is not going to get grouped either. So I think these two teams are definitely going to progress to the next round. And that's why I think the only plausible way is if Japan ends up getting defeated by France, and so that sets up a high-stakes matchup against another favorite of the tournament, England. That would be super cool to see. As for how this team is going to be, I think genuinely this is going to be the hardest team we've ever seen in the entirety of Blue Lock. The way Loki is going to absolutely blitz them, Japan might lose 6-3. I'm not joking. Like, they might put 8 goals past Japan. It might be like 8-3, 8-2. Might be a humiliating defeat that absolutely crushes Isagi and the rest of the Blue Lockers, but they're going to have to learn from it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to learn from this defeat throughout the tournament. They're going to go and they're going to have to pick themselves up for the eventual game against England. But yeah, as for that team, I already told you, I think it's going to be a 8-3 bashing. In the beginning, I think it'll be quite close, but then after Loki just takes over and quite literally just pages Isagi. Like, he literally destroys Isagi. This is going to be Isagi's first loss in a very, very, very long time, and I think it's very needed for his character as well. So yeah, I just think it's perfect for him to lose in this game rather than later in the tournament. So he loses here. Then we move on to our next game against England, the win or go home. Did you guys just see how I set all that up? Like, guys, the way that this story would pan out if I was writing, just look at the stakes here. We literally just played against Loki, heartbreaking defeat. We played Nigeria, showed an introduction to the World Cup and even these smaller teams being like competitive against the bigger teams, you know what I'm saying? And now we're finally getting England, another pretty big team, a very strong team with a new Gen 11 on it who's going to be sick, who's going to be killing people on defense. Maybe he might be a defender, he might be a midfielder, I don't really know. But it could be anybody, and I know that this England team is going to be stacked. If you know anything about England, you know that historically their teams are stacked with stars, but also historically they're not that clutch. Like, when it comes down to it, England usually fumbles in like a penalty shootout or something. So maybe this game might be going to penalty shootouts. Like, it might actually go to, like, I don't know if a group stage game could go to a penalty shootout. Maybe in Blue Lock they'll change it, but imagine this game going into like extra time because like they're tied on goal difference, they're tied on points, so they need a team to go through, and so it's literally tied. We're stressed. We go to penalties, we go to extra time, and then that's where Gagamaru comes up clutch and absolutely blocks a couple of the England penalties, sending them through. This will be the first high stakes match since the U20 game. And man, is it going to be a crazy introduction to this tournament, because not only did we get a game against Loki only in the first round, we also get the game against Nigeria, and now we get a game against this, and I think this will definitely be up there for one of the best games in the entire series, and maybe the score might be at the end like 6-5. Like, I see goals. Like, I don't see Blue Lock having the best defense, but I definitely see them scoring a lot of goals. So yeah, man, we're going to move on to the round of 16 just from that game. Now, obviously, I do not think that Blue Lock is going to be finishing first in this group. I definitely think they're going to be finishing second to France, who's inevitably going to be undefeated in this group. I think they're even going to defeat England quite easily because they're just a straight powerhouse and there's levels to this shit. But with this, usually the teams that finish second in their group, they usually get harder paths. So this is low-key better for Japan and Blue Lock because they're able to go and play harder and more interesting teams every single round. So the round of 16, round of quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals, they're just going to be playing some absolutely insane teams the entire time. And it also sets up for a possible final matchup against Julian Loki. You never know. You never know. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments about this prediction. Who do I think is going to win? How do I think they're going to win? How is the teams going to play? Like, what's going to be so special about them? What type of players are they going to have? Just let me know everything you think down below in the comments. If you guys like this video, please remember to hit that like and subscribe. Without further ado, hope you guys all have a great day. Goodbye.